Okay, hello, I hope this is working because this is the first time that I have tried this method of streaming. So I'm just going to get my phone open, then I might be able to see comments come out of WhatsApp. So you can tell me if it's working or not as well. Let me go to the Ninja group. Ninja Forex traders.
Hey everyone, how you doing, honey?
Okay, so I've got it saying that I'm live now. Paul's liked it, thank you, Paul. So let me go over to Forex Factory because I know that you know that there's a lot of news today. So this is the first thing that we always look at. So Thursday the 10th, this is my time in Paris, so it would be 1:30 where you are. So coming up at 2:30, just any minute, is both sets of red flag news on the USD. So obviously we're not going to be trading that. We can trade the news. I do trade the news, but only on demo to practice it. Because you can make 50 or 100 pips in a matter of seconds, which is fantastic return. We've also had Euro news an hour ago, so let's have a look at the impact of that. And earlier on today we had some GBP news, but I had to go out. So let me go over to my trading view, and I'm going to be looking at, let me look at Euro USD, because I know some of you were looking at that earlier. I'm sorry I couldn't get on this morning. As you know, I had to go out take the dog, leave them at the vet's. So let me take off these fibs, then I can show you. Oh, and if I get interrupted, it could be my workaware coming down to see me, so forgive me. I'm going to take everything off. So that we've got a clean chart. Right, okay. Let's go to the hourly. So I spent last night putting on some new scans that I got off the Harmonic Scanner. That's this one here. And there was quite a lot of activity in the Asian session. I didn't actually take any trades, but I did stay up on watching Fibonacci training, on live training, Chance and Samantha, and then looking at the Asian charts. But I was marking charts up from the Harmonic Scanner. So I went to Traders Way and I found quite a few on here that, well, not quite a few, I found quite a few overall, but I found one or two on here that were a minimum of 80 pips. I think it might have been the Euro Ward. Let me just measure that for you. Yeah, massive scan, and that's on the 15-minute. Now it was a shark, that's Euro Ord, and I'll show you it on the 1 hourly, 4 hourly and daily. So you can see the scan failed, so that means it's no longer valid since I looked at it. This is the 15-minute one, and it may possibly redraw, but let's go to the 1 hour, 4 hour and daily. Look down for Euro Ord, and you can see down here, oh, there's only one. There was one other that had different timescales that I found. The same one. It must have been, oh, Ord NZD. Let me go back. Let me just go back to the 15-minute and let me find the Ord USD. I thought I found it on there as well. Ord NZD. Hang on. Let's go back to, yeah. So let's go back to the 15-minute Ord NZD. There. And put the measuring tool on. Yeah, 555 pips. Massive scan, which means that will be tradable for me over a long period of time because it's so big. And as I said, you can also see that it's on the 1 hour, 4 hour and daily. Ord NZD is coming up as an H1 Gartley, an H4 Gartley and the daily Gartley. So very interesting scan. I just drew it last night on the 15-minute, but I'm probably going to redraw it on the hourly. But let me just go over to it on here. So I drew this, and as you can see, it's moved right up to take profit 2. It's wicked up there at 4 o'clock, 4:15 my time. So let's have a look up here at Ord NZD. Oh, we've got news hitting at the moment. I do like to look at that. That's dollar news. So let me go on to the, just move this down. I had my GBP ones marked up. So let me go over to one. Let's go to CAD JPY. Nothing, yeah, that's affected that. So sometimes what I do is I will look to see how the market is reacting across correlating pairs just to get a feel for the market. So we can see that at 2:30, the US dollar news has affected the Canadian dollar. Let's take the pivots off, and also I don't need, let's clean up my charts a bit. My computer's running a little bit slow. Trend line, trend line, fib retracement. Take these off, just clean it up a bit for you. Take some alerts off because I was watching, I quite like CAD JPY, I was watching that quite a bit. Trend line, take that off. I would have been trading this morning, but as I say, the dog was so poorly, I had to take him out and see to that. So we save that. That's actually on the 1 minute chart. Just save it back on the hourly because I'll come back to that later. So at the moment you can see I'm, let me just change this one. I usually change the older ones on the colour, and I just leave the most recent one on the green. Just take that down. That's it, it's just faded it out. So this scan, let me just check my phone in case I'm not doing this right. See if I've got, okay, I haven't got anyone commenting, it says it's live. I am recording this as well. So this scan is C, hang on, C to D, oh, wasn't that big, 104. Oh, look at that spiking up. Right, that's the, so that was the fake out on the news, and that's where you watch that and then you set your stop loss the opposite direction once you see the fake out closing, and then you could have got your, if you trade the news, this is your fake out, this is your fake out here. So there's news, might have been news on that, or maybe there wasn't. Let's go to, sorry, that's something different then. Let's go to USD chart. Let's have a look at a USD one. USD, let's have a look at USD JPY. And that one on my currency, I've got an alert going off. Oh, there we are, Ord NZD's cross and quarter theory. So let's have a look at that, because I can always come back to this. Ord NZD, that's on the 1 minute. Let me show it to you on the hourly. So I had this marked up here because I've got, I thought I had a quarter theory alert. I think that was my 15-minute one. Oh, I see. I've put the wrong message on, I think, for myself. Okay, so this is this massive scan. I'm on the 15-minute. It's come off the D point. So for me, on my rules, I'm only trading this as a buy. So I'm looking for it to break and retest the pitchfork here. I take, let me look at the 15-minute. So I look at my setups. And let's see what's happening there. So we've had a break and we've had a reject once, twice. That was this morning. And now it's coming up. So it's coming up past the 62 EMA. So if I come down to the 1 minute, because I have to have 3 confirmations between my entry price and my stop loss before I get into a trade. So what have we got here? Let me put the pivots on. And let's look at the trend. So I'm only going to be buying. So therefore I'm looking to put my trend line to see if it's going to break. There's my downward trend. I had that on alert, so it was in blue, so I'll change it back to green for a trend line. It's broken and retested the 1 minute trend. It's crossed the 62 EMA, that's 2 confirmations, and I've had a pitchfork touch, so that's 3 confirmations. So if I then put a long position on it, it's going quite rapidly up there. So my target would be, normally I put 20 pips. If I'm going to be looking at the charts, then I don't always set the take profit. And my stop loss would be 10, always 10 for me, unless it's a GBP pair. So I've got, have I got 3 confirmations between the entry price, 106692, is the day's range, down there, up to 107.02, and we're currently at 106.90. So just about where I would want to get in, because here I've got my pitchfork touches a little bit out down there. I can take that alert off now so I don't get confused. So I've got a break and a retest of the trend. I've got a crossing of the 62 EMA, so there's 2 confirmations, and I've got the break back there, which is below stop loss on the 1 minute. Let's have a look on the 15 minute. Yeah, okay. So the other thing that you can do, as I said, I'm not actually going to take a trade because I don't want to get caught up in all this news that's going on, but I thought I'd show you what you can do as the third confirmation on a fib. So if I just zoom out so you can see it more clearly. So your fib works on you're doing high to low for a sell or low to high for a buy, and I'm only buying on this one because it's coming off the D point. So if I show you the pivots, you want the previous low to the previous high. So if we get the fib retracement tool, and we go, let's just form that one there, previous low to previous high. Let's have a look here. So you can see that it touched the 61.8 here. These are the only, it doesn't make other fib settings wrong. These are just the fib settings that I use. So I'm most interested in, I look at the 50%, because if you've been trading news, then price will normally come back to that 50% line, so you can trade that after news. So we might have a look at that in a minute on the USD JPY. Gosh, you can see this news, you see it's affecting everything, so I can't concentrate on doing this as well as looking at what's happening in the news across all the currencies at the moment. So 61.8 is there, and it's just wicked through slightly. Ideally you want a perfect touch, and then it hasn't come down to the magic, oh hang on a minute, yeah, I've got that on right, hasn't come down to the magic 88.6, which normally is the third wave of the Elliott theory, which is why I like the 88.6. So if we did take it back to here, you don't want ones where it's the move has already happened. This is the problem with Elliott waves. You've got to, you know, I find it easy to get confused sometimes. So if we looked at that there, then it's still short there. If we put it, let's put it back there. So it did touch it there, but as I say, you're meant to just do it from the previous low to the previous high. So, and you can put fibs within fibs as well, so you can put more than one set in. So what have we got happening here? So that is why I wouldn't have got into that, because I only had 2 confirmations, although I did have the pitchfork touch between the potential entry price and my stop loss. I had 2 confirmations, not the 3. So it did break and retest the 1 minute trend. Although now we've got to draw it because it whipped down there, so it's not very good looking at things when the news has pushed things out so much. So let's leave that one. So we had a quick look at that. So I'll probably redraw. Let's take that off if I just redraw it down there. So I'm probably going to start to be looking at it here now. And see what it does to retest that and what's going to happen with the 62 EMA. So let's go back to looking at the USD pair. There it is, USD JPY. Let me go to the 1 hourly. See what's happened with the news. So my last scan on this was this one from August. And I'm sure I checked all these last night. Let me just go to the Harmonic Scanner. Yeah, I don't have any new ones on the USD JPY. For the ones that are minimum of 80 pips, which is what I look at. So you may well find some. No, let's just check Trader's Way. Oh, interesting. Oh, there's a USD JPY right down there. Quite a long time ago. Long time ago. That was 8th of October on the 15-minute. Did I miss the scan? No, because it's only 631. That's a point, so you discount that, so it's 63 pips. So I wouldn't have drawn that because it doesn't suit my criteria. That's all. Doesn't make it invalid. So let's go. Let me go back to. Just depends how you like to trade. Let me go back. So and let me just tidy up my chart. As I say, this is just a bit of you seeing how I trade, what sort of things I'm looking at, because I'm not trading because of the Euro and the USD news, but we can have a look at some fibs and see what's shaping up. That's it, that's tidied that up. Okay, so you can see that I've got the scan. Come on. The scan down here, and it's come right up. Price came right up on the dollar outside of that scan and the extensions into another scan that I had back from 31st of July, but you always pay attention, you're always dealing with the most recent scan. It's now come back into the range of my most recent scan. Oh no, it's the second most recent one down here. And you can see that they're overlapping. That's actually a good thing because scans are working off reversal points in the market. So it is doubly confirming that that was a reversal point where you know, an X point becomes, where a D point becomes an X point, etc., etc. So that's good. So here we are. It's an upward trend. I'm going to take the pivots off for the moment, and I'm going to come down to the 15-minute. I want to start to look at how the news affected the USD against the JPY. And on the 15-minute, I'm looking at the purple. Let me fade this out a bit more because we don't want to get confused. Just looking at the purple scan. On the 15-minute. So what happened with the news? Not a lot. How many pips did that move? Oh, it only moved 24. So yeah, at 4:30, and the fake out candle before didn't do anything much. So it doesn't look like the market's been interesting how it's just very directly rejecting off that pitchfork level. So it's coming down back to quarter theory, which is there to there. That's 20 pips, no, less than 20 pips. It's got to get through pitchfork, through quarter theory, 15 pips there. So if I go down to the 1 minute, and let's see what we've got here. So the news, oh, there's the fake out. So it faked out, it did wick down to here, faked out 7 pips, and then that was on the news, and then there's the reaction to the news. So if you want to trade back to the 50% using a fib, Euro USD, then you would put a fib on this, like this, fib, from the beginning of where the news hit up to here. Just do it the other way around. So your price should come back to your 50% line following that news reaction. So you can take a trade off that. Well, oh, the wrong one. We put that up there. So price is coming down now, but when it's finished its move, you can go, say you got in there, down to the 50%. It's probably not worth it on this. Well, it could be, but you'd have to be confident that it had reached the end of the news move, and then you'll find it comes back down to the 50% level on average. I think that was Oren Wright taught that one. So that's one way of trading the news, and the other way, of course, is you look for this fake out. But I'm only practicing that on demos still. You look for the fake out candle, you set your stop loss, so you have it already written down on whether you're going to take a buy or a sell on market execution. As soon as that 1 minute candle closes, then you know it's going to move in the other direction. But as I say, you must have your stop loss set just in case there's something weird on you, and then you could have made this is a small news move, but 20 pips in a minute, and that's how that works. So let's just I'll add that to my watch list, and I'm going to make that a different color. So I want to go to my blue list. Okay, so this is the US session. Let's look at CAD JPY on the 1 minute. So it's just chilling out. It's just chilling out at the moment. But I'll put that on my US watch list. Blue. Let's have a look at any others. It's the board NZD, CAD JPY. USD CHF, Swiss franc. Go to the hourly. Just let me clean up my charts. Right. So on this one, I seem to remember this was another massive scan, but I can't. It looks like it from what I can see there. Yeah. So I've got a very it's this one back here, which was like this was another 500 one, I think. Let's just check the length of that. Over 500, 530, 530. But as I say, you still always just do the latest one. And I know I was checking everything last night. I didn't have any new scans. So you can see it's moved back. It's moving in this massive one. It's not in any of my smaller ones anyway, so there's no confusion for me there. So we've got it, oh, and also I'll check settings on this when I'm here. I think I set those. Make sure I got it the right way around. No, solid. I think it's the point. Yeah, it's the 0.5s, the half ones I like in dotted. Then you can tell that that one's the medium. So what we've got happening off this very big scan is it came down sort of towards the extensions. It's come back in and it's rejected 1, 2, this is since September, 3, and it's coming up now off quarter theory. So let me go to the 15-minute. I think USD Chef is quite a slow moving pair. So let's look on the 15-minute. The news didn't affect it very much, though it might be hard to tell because it's a slower moving pair. I'm only going to be buying this then because it hasn't come up to the median on this big scan. So let's put the pivots on. And what have we got happening? Well, not a lot really. So its price is, there was a nice little trade there. Rejected off quarter theory, came down below the 62 EMA. So that would have been, except I wouldn't have taken it, 35 pips there because this is a bigger scan. So 500, you've got 125 per leg of the pitchfork. So it's respecting price, it's dropped again. So again, it's going against the direction of the scan. So it's not a sell for me, but you know, it's good to see, you know, if you've got the confirmations, the rejecting off quarter theory, you could have taken it, and are coming under the 62 EMA. So price told you many times since the 4th of October through to the 8th of October that this was looking to drop. So here's your key point. And if I'd drawn a 1-minute trend line, it would have broken that as well, I would have thought. So you've got a nice little trade there. So here it is, it's come down here. So I'm just going to draw this up so I'll add it to the watch list. Add to watch list on my blue, which is my New York colour. As you can see up here, I switch the sessions on, and it looks like I didn't change the colours correctly on this one because I don't trade this very much. So I need to just, Tokyo I have in green, London I put in yellow, New York in blue, and then the inputs you do this in, you've got to use this, if you want to add this on indicators, you need this enable code. Message me if you haven't got a screen grab of this. I don't trade Sydney. These are my local times. So Tokyo's 2 AM to 11 AM for me, London's 9 till 1800 hours, and New York 1400 to 23. So there's my, so this shows you sessions changeovers. So let me just come out of this a bit here. So remember, I'm on the 1 minute and I'm only looking for buys. So I haven't really got anything here because I'm in between levels. So all I'm going to do is set an alert down here change that colour because I always keep them. So I put add alert. Or buy. If it goes down that far. Let me see how many pips away that is. And then so when was my last pitchfork touch? Let me just turn those pivots off. On the 15-minute, see more of it. Yeah, 25th of September. That's what we mean by a slow-moving pair. Rejection of quarter theory. Up to quarter theory up here. How many pips was that off quarter theory? 4 pips. Oh. Hang on. Settings. Just have to take that off from. Oh, that's better. A straighter line now. See how many pips that is. Okay. Move that up. Right. And do I need to look at edit? It's okay. And then let me just settings, extend the line. Right, okay. So I doubt it's going to come right back down. It's a slow moving pair. It is moving up again. So I could possibly look at trading between the quarter theory levels. So I think what I will do, I'll go to the 1 minute. And see if I can draw a trend line for myself. I'll copy this, so I'll clone that, and I'll shove that up here so I can have a think about whether I'm going to trade between the quarter theories. It's such a big scan. And I'll just put add alert, and I'll put coming up to quarter theory. And then what I might do, if when I'm looking at it, is put some fibs on it, as I would potentially be trading between that 50 pip there. between the quarter theory. So what I'm going to do is I haven't really got a trend yet, have I? I mean, for an upward trend. Because that would have been the trend down there. And then it's come up here. How many pips did that come up? Coming up past the 62 EMA, 15 pips. It's still above the 62. So let me just put this on, I think. Just put a trend line on like this. No, I have to take the magnet off, so it's not liking that. Settings, green. Let me take off the. Okay, grab it properly. So to me, I'll leave it like that at the moment. I've got 1, 2, 3 touches. And I've set an alert, so I'll have a look at what it's doing up here. And then I will put a fib on from the previous, as it's a buy, from the previous low, wherever that is. At the moment it's there, to the previous high, which is that one there, that one there. So that's me marked up at the moment, because it's a very big scan. So that's fine on that one. And let's just see if we want to look at anything else. We're past the crazy hour and just coming out of the last 20 minutes after an hour after news. We don't trade either side of an hour either side of the news. Not going to look at Bitcoin. Got CAD CHF there. I don't think that I trade that one particularly. Not that I recall. Look at my list. Yes, because that only moves at a 1. So that's like a tortoise, and I just don't have the mentality to cope with that. So that is me, I think. I've got an AUD USD. We haven't looked at that. Let's see if the news affected that. And AUD USD, that's only a 2. So you see, I haven't even got a scan on this one, or have I? Yes, I have. I very, very rarely look at this. I suppose we all end up with our favourites, don't we? Put the magnet back on. I don't want to be moving any of my lines. So that's back in June, that one. And while we're here, I'll do some tidying up. Quarter theory, just on these outside ones. It sounds perverse, but it's how it works. You uncheck the quarters and you just keep the major and the halves. And then just put those 2 in orange. That's better. It just makes the chart a little bit cleaner for you. On the hourly. So just see between 115, 120. So it's about 30 pips per segment of my pitchfork. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the outer extensions here. And it's moved. How many days did it take it to move 30 pips? 7th of October. And it's just moving 10th of October, so that's 3 days. But, you know, you've got some nice little trades there, haven't you, between the pitchforks and the quarter theory. So I shouldn't look at it, actually. I might look at this one a little bit more, because that looked quite nice. So I'll add that to my list. Oh, and it's rejecting there off quarter theory and the pitchfork. So actually this is of interest to me. So let me go to the 15-minute and I'll just bring up these settings. Oh, it is on 100% on the green. So it's retesting. So the reason this is of interest, I'm on the 15-minute. I'm going to go down to the 1 minute in a minute. Let me go down to the 1 minute on audio SD. Right. Okay, so I've had a pitchfork touch at 11:24 here, 1, 2 rejects. I've had it above the 62 EMA here, and that was 15 pips, and it's now coming back down to test the pitchfork and quarter theory. So that's a double strong line of resistance. So if I put my pivots on and I draw a trend from there down to, I'll take that down to quarter theory, and that's why this is of interest to me, because you've got a very steep line here. So it'll be, and it's got to, you know, it's going to ping right back once it's retested, probably. Can't always predict, as we know. We don't predict, we read the market. So what I'm looking for it to do is this, either here or on quarter theory, but let's assume it's gone back up there, but let me just, you know, either way to do that. And let me just get rid of that in the only way I know how. And then let me put on a, let me just show you where the next pitchfork line is, which is there. Let me put on a long position, long. So I would want it to get, so I've got my, I'm always looking for 3 confirmations. So if I just, I wonder if I can show you where my trade sheet is for my confirmations, because I closed it this morning. Documents, downloads, trade sheet version 2. You have a look at my PDF. There we are. So we're always looking for an entry. You must have a pitchfork touch. and then 2 other confirmations, which is between your entry price and your stop loss. So quarter theory, break and retest or rejection. And we've got that. So we've got the pitchfork touch. We've got that coming above the 62 EMA. Well, I'm looking for that as my entry price. A 1-minute break of trend. I've drawn the downward trend so I can see if there's a break and a retest of that. A channel touch. So you know, I've drawn channel touches before. I'm not going to go into that today. Or you can put a fib on it and you're looking for a pullback on the 88.6 or the 61.8. And these other ones are for your exit strategy, 2 flips on the hull, and either your trade goal or your daily goal reached. So that's our trade sheet. So we've got the pitchfork touch. We've got a break. Sorry, we've got a rejection coming up of quarter theory and the pitchfork, so I'm very interested in that. Haven't got a cross of the 62 EMA, but we could have a break and a retest of the 1-minute trend. So this is looking very nice for me for a trade. And let me just, and what I like about this is if I put it down below quarter theory, it's covered me on quarter theory on my stop loss. And for me, a stop loss is always 10 pips. And then 20 would be just round about the next pitchfork line. And then you go to your position size calculator and you work out what you want to put on it in terms of lot sizes. So let's see if I can increase this even more, just so we can get a clearer view. And so what I'm waiting for now, and this is why I set alerts, so I don't physically have to sit and look at all this. Now, what time are we at? We've just had a 15-minute candle close. So let's have a look at what happens on the candle close, and that's looking good because what we've got there is let's see if I increase it for you. So what's happening now? We've got 10 minutes left of this 15-minute one, but on the previous one, so we had a strong downward trend, but we had wick side to side on the sell candle, and so we're very interested in what's happening on the candle close. So here we've got a doji on the sell candle, so that's, don't know why I'm going to have to close some things. Sorry about that. Let me go back to my, see if it will take me back. Just keep that one open. All right. Hope it saved my settings. I've not had that happen before when I've closed everything. All right. It's annoying. Bear with me. One's coming up okay, one of the previous ones. How strange. Very odd. Why has it done that? Suddenly glitched on me. I wonder if the others are all okay. Let me just check them. Very odd. Just checking the speeds of these things as well. Right. Let me have a look at this one. So, settings. The quarter. That. Turn off quarter theory because it's just hitting the line, which is what it always seems to go vertical when it does that. So, right, so let me look on this one. The candle close. Right, and that must have been the news at 4:30, affected that a bit. So let me put a trend line on here. Go down to the 1 minute. And okay, just come out with that bit so you can see it more clearly. Don't like the look of that as much as, say, that. That works better. Right, one touch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's on the 1 minute. We have got a pitchfork touch back here, which we must have. We've got a break and a retest of the pitchfork and the trend line. And now I'm going to turn quarter theory on. I'm going to make sure I have saved that. because the thing, I've turned off all the other charts. Right, so there's quarter theory, so it's rejecting off that. I'm going to put my long position on it, and I'm going to 10 pips stop loss. I want it to cover my quarter theory, and then it's about 20 pips up to there. Now this is quite a slow moving pair. Ord USD, let me just double check it. If I've even got it on my list, because I don't usually trade this one. Yeah, I have got it on the list. That's only trade, that's a 2, so it's a slow moving pair. So what price are we at now? 6753. There. So that's well below the, so actually I'm going to get into this. So I'm going to put a horizontal line on at 10 pips. So that's 753. So that'll be at 67853. 67623, 623, round about here, there, and that's when I'll move stop profits to stop loss. So let's just see what it's doing at the moment. It's rejecting again off of that pitchfork. So we've had the pitchfork touch. Ideally, I think I'll wait till it comes above the 62 EMA, but I have got a break and a retest of the 1 minute trend. I have got, I'm covered by pitchfork and quarter theory. So it's broken and retested that. So that's 1, 2, and the pitchfork touch is my 3 confirmations. So what we were doing before we were so rudely interrupted was just going back to the 15 minute and looking at where the half hour. So let's just see how the candles closed. And sure enough, yes, there was that doji. And here is the new candle forming between the pitchfork and the, so it's at a price pinch point, and we've had the pitchfork touch, we've had on the 1 minute the break and retest of the 1 minute trend line, and also the rejection of the quarter theory and the pitchfork. So that to me, there is our, here's our pitchfork touch, and here is, that's the one that we want. So that's better. So that's on the 15 minute. Let's see what happened on the 30 minute candle. So we had a wicked sell candle, and you can see it's just in this pinch point on the half hour between the quarter theory and the pitchfork, but it's way above the 62 EMA on the 30 minute and on the 15 minute. And on the 5 minute, we've had a doji candle between the pitchfork and the quarter theory point, which is a strong line of support and resistance. Price is trying to make its mind up, so it's going to make its mind up one way or the other, because it's coming right to this pinch point between pitchfork and quarter theory. So if I go back to the 1 minute, we can see that price is, there's a doji on the sell candle there. It's rejected once, twice off the quarter theory, it's rejecting off the pitchfork as well. But it hasn't come above the 62 EMA yet. So we have, I think, got our confirmations, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to get into this one. I'm just going to wait for it to clear this pitchfork on the 1 minute and possibly wait for it to come above the 62 EMAs, because I've still got myself very well covered. I've got a few pips here down below quarter theory for my stop loss. So this will be the last trade that we'll look at together today. Let me put the pivots on. Yep, so I'm still liking that as my trend line. I don't want to move that. And I just want to, so I'll turn the pivots off. Let's have a look at the hull, which is what I use for exit. See what the hull says it's doing. I don't use this for entry, but I do use it for exit. So we've still got it on the 15-minute hull, the red band at the back saying it's in a downward trend. This is on the 1 minute, and we've still got the 1 minute saying it's in a downward trend, but it does look like it's leveling off, as you can see the candles testifying to that. So that doesn't tell us anything that we don't need to, that we don't know already from the rest of it. The reason we use the hull for exit is if it flipped in the opposite direction twice within a short space of time, then on the second hull flip, I would look to get out of the trade. What time are we now? 15:34, my time. So I think what I'll do is just put myself an alert at 751. I'll just put one about there. Settings, change it to my alert color. And that'll show me it's just going to be crossing that pitchfork, add alert. EF cross for a buy. Okay, create that. Okay, so that's it, folks, from me today. Stop the share. Thank you very much. Let me stop the recording.